Hello, my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more. Like tonight's film. This is 1989's They Call Me Macho Woman. And it says right here, born to shop, she learned to kill. This is They Call Me Macho Woman, 1989, and this is distributed by Troma, but not made by Troma. It's actually directed by Patrick Donahue, and this is the back of the DVD. Now, here's an interesting thing here, folks. The lead woman in the film is not the woman that's on the cover of this movie. Okay? The lead woman in the film's name is Deborah Sweeney, this blonde-haired girl. Kind of gives me vibes of like early, the pop star Kesha, and just really, really pretty, really hot. But this girl right here, who is this girl that's for some reason modeling on the cover here? Well, I think I know who it is, although I couldn't find any definite proof. But I think I'm going to make a bet. I believe her name is Sandra Taylor. She used to go by the model name of Sandy, and I had her poster up in my room in the early 90s or late 80s. She also used to make appearances on a Howard Stern show, I believe, on the Channel 9 show, or the Channel 8 show, that TV show Howard Stern had briefly. Also, this is the same woman, Sandra Taylor, who was a penthouse pet, who also supposedly had great sex with our now president, Donald Trump. So very, very interesting stuff here. But this is the girl, I believe, that is on the cover, Miss Sandra Taylor. So if you have any more leads on that or information on that, please feel free to comment below on this video. But we're going to get into this extremely fascinating film, and that is going to sucker punch you. It's going to sideswipe you. It's going to flip you over. You're not going to believe what you are watching when you watch They Call Me Macho Woman. And I got to tell you, I didn't know what I was going to watch. I don't even believe there's a trailer readily available online. If there is, do not watch it before you watch the film because a few things will be given away, unfortunately. Let's get into this fascinating 80-minute sucker punch of a movie from 1989. Now, I have to tell you, this movie plays in real time for the 80 minutes. It is absolutely non-stop. Absolutely twisting and turning and developing and tension and edge of your seat and holy crap and what's going to happen next. They Call Me Macho Woman could truly be this unreal 70s exploitation film made in 1989. Now, a movie that I looked at on this YouTube page called Sudden Fury, I believe it's called. Let me just make sure of the title there as I move my eyes. Yes, Sudden Fury. Sudden Fury is a movie I looked at on this YouTube page as well. And I make connections between these two films because, like Sudden Fury, They Call Me Macho Woman is a non-stop assault of tension but more with They Call Me Macho Woman, not just the tension of Sudden Fury. In this film, it's nonstop action. It's nonstop, violence and exploitation craziness. But I think the reason why I'm comparing it to Sudden Fury is in the fact that it's nonstop. It's a humongous sucker punch as well. And there's also a crashed car that starts off the film in a way. So I just thought of that. So the two films, while Sudden Fury has that nonstop tension and action as well, this film has like the nonstop action, but they both are feature length of twists and turns and the unexpected. Now, in this film, we have the loss of a husband, drunk drivers, cocaine drug lords in the middle of, the country. We have rape, torture. We have vengeance, suffering, greed. We even have some humor in here, which I laughed out loud a few times. Very interesting amidst the wild violence and kind of dark, exploitative, vengeance, violence tone to the film. We also have some pretty amusing comedy in here as well. And I have to tell you, in terms of the violence of They Call Me Macho Woman, the interesting thing is that there's a lot of stabbing. There's a lot of things getting pushed through people. There is even a character in this film who's called the Unicorn at one point, who kills people with this like S&M looking like helmet and a spike and just pushes it into their head. It's wild. And I have to tell you, if you've ever seen Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses, there's this excellent scene near the beginning of the film of these kind of scarecrows coming to life and smashing through a car and dragging people out and torturing them, later on in the film. I got to tell you, They Call Me Macho Woman, I'm going to say it's probably the best car smashing, violent, insane sequences within a car that I've seen cinematically. I mean, it's definitely maybe the best or up there, but I think it's the best that I've seen so far. Sheer violent chaos with a vehicle. This movie, very, unexpected. It's low budget. It has some fun with it, with the dark exploitation as well. We even have martial arts. Of course, with the title of the film, we have gender issues in here as well. There is no nudity in this film, but there is definitely sleaziness in a darker manner, in a sexually violent sort of way. I went into this film not knowing anything about it except for the cover. I actually thought this girl was going to be in the film, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be awesome, Sandra Taylor. So I had no idea. That's the best way to go into this film, is to have no idea. And so, as always, I never put spoilers in my videos. I hardly put plot. Let's be honest. I put feelings and vibes and themes and tones. Now, if there was ever a film that was wall-to-wall music, it would be They Call Me Macho Woman. The score is unending in the film. Unending. It is non-stop score in this movie. And it's dark, it's dramatic, it's 80s synth-driven with like kind of the 80s synth choir-like voices within it as well. And it is ebbing and flowing and tense and dark and cool 80s and tense and dark, and it has all of that there. And there's not a ton of really percussion per se or hard driving rhythms. It kind of peeks its head out a little bit in the closing credits of the film, but that's about it. And it really just encapsulates the whole film. We have wild car chases in this film, car crashes, hand-to-hand combat, as I stated, stabbings, martial arts, torture, rape. It's all here, folks. This is a wild film that takes place in the claustrophobic setting of the middle of nowhere in the country, and I believe it was actually filmed in Santa Clara, and I believe that's in California. Correct me if I'm wrong here, folks, but wow. I mean, the middle of nowhere, truly the middle of nowhere, and the mystery of it all, of having this drug cartel in the middle of nowhere, is just fascinating in and of itself as well. Very, very interesting stuff going on here, and this is... The end of the film actually reminds me a bit of the end of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre by Tobe Hooper. I'm not going to say anything else about that, but it just reminds me of that. And I have to tell you, if you're into 70s exploitation films, if you're into exploitation films at all, that are non-stop, off the rails, if you're into grindhouse films, if you're into any of that type of stuff, this is such a misleading film that it's a diamond in the rough. You're never going to know about it. You're never going to hear about it. I never knew about it. I just bought it because it looked cool. I also wasn't aware. I thought it was going to be a lot, cheesier from the cover, a lot more playful, a lot more kind of, 80s beauty, real sexploitation and stuff like that. And instead, I got like a viciously chaotic exploitation film that was just incidentally made in 1989. So this is They Call Me Macho Woman. Wow. One interesting thing stylistically is that, I mean, with the awesome writing of the film and the outrageous antics, and the booby traps and just everything, and the crazy kind of Ash Evil Dead sequence in this film as well, involving making your own weapons, and it's madness. It's amazing. The use of fades to black in the film is very interesting as well. A couple fades to black were quite long, and it was very interesting because it's a non-stop film. And if you like cocaine, you're also going to like this film. This is 1989's They Call Me Macho Woman. What a diamond in the rough, and a movie that needs to be talked about more. As far as I know, it's only distributed by Troma on this DVD. Might be on VHS as well. Have no idea. But this is a film to watch. Thank you so much for watching the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page, where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more, like this beautiful diamond in the rough right here. Please feel free to check out my own personal films at youtube.com/poopy diarrhea. That's POOPY diarrhea. Thank you so much, and good night.